I recently got a request on my comments to make a video covering each of the north nodes, not only in the signs or just in the houses, but what it means to have a certain north node in a sign and house combination. So in this video, I'm going to cover what it means to have your north node in Pisces in each of the houses. Welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. My name's Isabel and I help you understand who you are using personality typing and astrology. I do this because I was the person who completely lacked a sense of self that most people seem to innately have, and I often felt lost and confused on my direction in life because of it. So if you're like me, I now create these videos to help you understand yourself and understand these systems so that you can enjoy your life a little bit better. Because when I discovered my Enneagram, my Myers-Briggs, my birth chart, I finally had a sense of self and I had an idea of who I could be. So before I dive into what it means to have your north node in the sign of Pisces, which understanding my north node has helped me so much with navigating life, hit the link in the description below to get your very own My Horoscope Made Me Do It hoodie. If you love astrology, you need one of these insanely comfortable hoodies now. This video is going to be quite informal just because it's going to be take a long time to break down what it means clearly to have your north node in Pisces in each sign. So the north node in Pisces is already someone who tends to be hypercritical of themselves as they have a south node in Virgo. And I've already covered a video. I have a video covering what it means to have your south node in Virgo and your north node in Pisces. So check out that video under my north node signs and houses playlist to learn more about what it means to have this placement in your chart. But generally, people who have a south node in south node in Virgo and north node in Pisces are already people who have a tendency to be hypercritical, whether that is of themselves or of other people. I've seen this play out both ways. Some people tend to focus more on being hypercritical of the world around them, and some people with a south node in Virgo are more hypercritical of themselves. So this also stems usually because karmically, the south node in Virgo tends to grow up with one or more hypercritical parent that helps them cultivate this strong inner critic within them. So now there's someone who goes through life and is hypercritical of themselves and other people. They can be perfectionists and extremely hardworking. People with a south node in Virgo have an incredible attention to detail that helps them move through life and get hard things done. However, with a north node in Pisces, their path to growth is to learn to be more unconditionally loving. As opposed to seeing that all good things require hard effort, they start to see that they can make an impact in the world just by being a source of positive energy, positive frequency, forgiveness, and unconditional love. And this could be more reflected towards themselves or the world, depending again on whether they feel that they struggle more with being hypercritical of themselves or the world around them. So overall, people with a north node in Pisces are supposed to focus on more unconditional love. They're supposed to be more gentle, empathetic, caring towards themselves and other people, managing not only their physical body, but their energetic body as well. However, where this unconditional love gets channeled is often very dependent on the house that your north node is in. And one thing I've noticed a lot about astrology whenever I went to research about these things is that oftentimes we look at either the house our north node is in or the sign our north node is in with separation. When really our north node is what makes it so unique is knowing the house and sign it's in. Because oftentimes it can be easy for us to embrace our north node sign because we're embracing it in a different house. So for example, I am a north node in Taurus, and for a while I didn't really pay attention to what house it was in. I just knew that I'm supposed to focus on material gain and self-sufficiency and self-worth. And a lot of that for me played out in my daily routines. I started focusing on more grounding, practicality, having a planner, making sure I practiced self-care and fed myself good food. And I was like, this is easy. I've mastered my north node. I'm so great. until I realized that my North Node is in my 5th house, which means that when it comes to romance and love, I need to focus on building a practical relationship in many ways. I could go into more detail about what that means, but that's the short summary. The point is, the house that your North Node is in is going to be oftentimes where it's hardest for us to embrace this zodiac archetype. So if you have a North Node in Pisces, yes, you have to generally focus on unconditional love for all beings, including yourself, but there's somewhere you're supposed to specifically focus on this unconditional love that is going to be a lot harder and a lot more impactful. So, how do you find out really quick that what house your North Node is in? If you look at your birth chart, there's usually a table chart that comes along when you pull a chart. So if you're looking at the table chart, you'll see that your North Node is in the sign of Pisces, but also there's going to be a Roman numeral that shows your North Node is in as well. And that's the house it is in. There are 12 houses in astrology, so that can go from just the letter I all the way to XII. So that shows the house it's in. And if you're looking at your zodiac wheel at the bottom of your chart, find your North Node and look to the inner circle to see where those Roman numerals are positioned around the circle. And whatever the houses move counterclockwise. So look for where your North Node is in and go clockwise. I had to think for a second there to make sure I was saying it right. So look for where your North Node is in and go clockwise and find whatever house it hits next. That's the house that your North Node is in. I can explain this better, or we can book a reading in the link in the description below to talk about it more. If you already know what house your North Node in Pisces is in, let's dive into what it means to have a North Node in Pisces in each house. If you're a North Node in Pisces in your first house, you are supposed to focus on cultivating a stronger sense of identity in this lifetime. You already likely know that having a North Node in your first house means your South Node is in your 7th house. So you're someone who generally focuses on relationships. You think that life is better when shared, and so spending time alone is not your natural tendency. You feel much more positive when you're sharing your experiences with another person. However, you might tend to have a tendency to, in your relationships, focus on selflessly serving your partner at all times, potentially erring between selfless giving nature and then being hypercritical towards yourself and your partner. And this can lead to a lot of frustration and conflict. Your growth in this lifetime is to focus on cultivating a stronger sense of self-compassion, focusing on your sense of identity more, and really realizing that you do not need another person in your life in order to make you feel whole. In many ways, people with a North Node in Pisces in first house are meant to spend more time alone, specifically in a spiritual practice. Pisces is a very spiritual archetype, and so having a spiritual practice is really important for these people. If you have a North Node in Pisces in your 2nd house, you might be someone who tends to focus too much specifically on being the perfect sexual partner. When it comes to intimacy, you want to provide everything possible, and you want to make sure that you're pleasing your partner in every way imaginable perfectly. You also are generally someone who focuses on the deeper levels of fulfillment. But your growth in this lifetime is to focus more on your own self-sufficiency and providing yourself stable incomes in many ways. The 2nd house has to do with our wealth and worth, and so those who have a North Node 2nd house in Pisces are supposed to focus on building themselves a better financial cushion so that they can live life in a much more spiritual and unconditionally loving way. Instead of providing everything perfectly for everyone else, provide sufficiency for yourself so you can be more at ease and just move with the flow of life. The North Node in 2nd house in Pisces also implies that there's a level of self-worth to be attained through connecting with spirituality and connecting more with your sense of self. You might be, again, someone who wraps up their self-worth in their partner and how much they please them or how much they provide for them, specifically in intimacy. And you're instead supposed to focus on providing for yourself. If you are in North Node in Pisces in your 3rd house, you're someone who generally tends to play the martyr, let's say. This is generally a theme that can come up with the 9th house South Node. And the reason for this is because the ninth house often acts or sees itself, it's where we learn about our hero's journey, which here at Be The Hero.Academy, we are very passionate about. However, there's a healthy dose to be played out. So those who have a north node in third house have a south node in ninth house, which means that oftentimes the ninth house can be played out in negative ways. So for those with the south node Virgo ninth house, they often view their lives as, I am the selfless servant, I am the one who gives everything, I am the one who always makes sure things are perfect, and I get no reward for it. And so I am the martyr, I am the victim, and I must suffer through life. There's this general aura and mentality for the south node ninth house. And your growth in life is to move towards being more like Pisces in your day-to-day life. Oftentimes when we have a south node in ninth house, our view is to the horizon, always thinking about the one day. And north node third house implies to bring our gaze to what's right in front of our faces. Mindfulness at its finest. Pisces is the archetype of unconditional love, and it is in many ways a lover. And so I think of the north node in Pisces third house as learning to be a lover in day-to-day life. Stop and smell the roses. Be a source of unconditional love for people. Just give your love freely to other people from a state of self-sufficiency and not demanding anything from anyone else. If your north node is in Pisces in your fourth house, you're supposed to learn to be more unconditionally loving, soft, and sensitive in your home life. You probably grew up, again, with a very authoritative parent who is hypercritical of you. This is a general theme for anyone who has a 10th house south node. But with it also being in Virgo, you almost 100% guaranteed had a parent who made you feel like you had to be perfect, get straight A's, be successful, be the best on the team, whatever it was. There was a strong belief that I have to be successful and perfect. And so now you're someone who focuses a lot on your career and making sure you're the best at what you do. But your growth in this lifetime is to focus on family, focus on home, and provide a home one day for your future family that is full of unconditional love, empathy, and compassion. Instead of seeing life as a task to be completed, you're instead supposed to just enjoy the moment, enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your family, and be as Piscean as possible in your home and family life. If your north node is in Pisces in your fifth house, you are supposed to learn to be more unconditionally loving in romance. You might be someone who tends to be, again, self-critical, hypercritical, and avoids romantic flings in many ways. You see life as a very serious thing to be taken care of. I'm supposed to focus on my dreams and my vision, or I'm supposed to give all myself to my community. 11th house has a lot to do with two factors. One, community/friendship, and the other is big dreams and visions. And I hear a lot of interpretations about the 11th house, specifically 11th house south node, as having to do with wrapping yourself up too much in wanting to fit in with the friend group, which is usually played out for most people. But oftentimes as we get older, these people can, the 11th house south node can be sneaky because it'll show itself and present itself as big dreams and visions. And we don't usually catch this one because it's often not interpreted in astrology. So people with a south node in Virgo, in their 11th house specifically, can feel as if they often get wrapped up in their visions for the future, the greatness they have to live up to, the great things they have to do one day, the vision. And instead, they're supposed to learn to just be here, be present, and, flirt, have fun. The fifth house has to do with romance and a lot of creativity. Romance, creativity, expression, and inner child work. So people with a fifth house north node are generally supposed to focus on their love lives and also just being creative and expressing themselves. And when this is in Pisces, this is even more accentuated in the most loving way. Oftentimes when we have fifth house and Pisces themes, we can think of writing poetry, reading love letters. These are the kind of themes that can come up for people who have a north node in Pisces in fifth house. And those who have this placement will have just one massive eye roll to that because, oh my God, that sounds so stupid. But it's true that with a north node in fifth house in Pisces, you're supposed to focus on love and being unconditionally loving, both towards yourself and others. Again, Pisces North Node can play out in the negative, where we start to focus too much on providing love for everyone else from a state of self-abandonment. And this is supposed to be a self-grounded process. If you have a North Node in Pisces in your 6th house, you might focus too much on your actual tasks, and you need to practice more energetic responsibility in your day-to-day life. Make space and make time to be alone often. Make time for spiritual practice. How do you handle your day-to-day routine, and how does your spiritual wellness and your energetic wellness and emotional wellness fit into that? If you have a North Node in Pisces in your 7th house, you are here to learn to be more unconditionally loving and caring in your relationships. You are likely someone who's hypercritical and hyper-independent, preferring to do things on your own because no one can do it as perfectly as you, and you'd much rather spend time by yourself. But your North Node implies that you're here to learn to be a source of love, empathy, and compassion, both for yourself and others in a relationship. Can you allow yourself to soften in a relationship? Can you allow yourself to be vulnerable? Can you allow yourself to be just a lover in the world instead of a fighter and a giver? If you have a North Node in Pisces in your 8th house, you're someone who's overly focused on self-sufficiency and making sure that you are as self-sufficient as possible in a most practical way, very hardworking, likely making a lot of money off of your career. But your North Node in Pisces is here to learn to merge with other people. The 8th house has to do with sexuality, intimacy, and codependency in many ways. And so your North Node in Pisces in 8th house could mean that you are simply here to learn to be more vulnerable in intimacy with another person. And this plays out not just in sexual intimate moments, but also throughout life. Can you be more vulnerable? Can you merge with another person in healthy doses? Can you allow yourself to share space with another and be a source of empathy and let yourself receive empathy and compassion? This is about unconditional love and the softest form of intimacy that we can imagine. If your North Node is in Pisces in 9th house, you are here to, in a way, travel through life in the most Piscean way possible. I can't help but think there's 2 aspects to the 9th house, and one is mental exploration and one's physical exploration. So when people have a North Node in 9th house, there is a huge theme around, just talking about philosophy and pursuing learning. Oftentimes these people get caught up in data and their day-to-day tasks and day-to-day life that they don't allow themselves to embrace what their journey is in this lifetime. How are you the hero of your story, and what do you want to live? That is a big theme for you. However, it is just as big of a theme of, if you have a North Node in 9th house, to literally travel. You might be someone who, if you're a South Node in 3rd house Virgo, you are someone who tries to serve their community endlessly in the day-to-day routine. You're impeccable with your word, you're impeccable with your research, but instead you need to get into the unknown in the most Piscean way possible. So mental exploration and spiritual discovery can be huge with a North Node Pisces 9th house, but also just traveling in a way that is very aligned with intuition, with a love for life, connecting to energy. Traveling to connect with nature will be huge for you. Spending time in nature will be huge for you. If your North Node is Pisces in your 10th house, you are likely tend to be someone who is focused on serving their family very strongly. You want to make sure you're providing for your family, whether that's the family you were raised with or the family you've now created. But instead, your growth is to learn to do a career you love, and in your career, be a place where you can provide unconditional love for other people. Healing work could be something that is very important for you. If you're a North Node in Pisces in your 11th house, you tend to focus on being, again, that kind of perfect lover archetype, similar to the 7th house South Node Virgo, but instead you need to focus more generally on your dreams. When we have a South Node in 5th house, we tend to focus too much on life enjoyment, which sounds counterintuitive because I'm all for enjoying life to the fullest, but we do so in a low vibrational way. We do in ways that don't fulfill us in the long run. And 5th house South Node in many ways highlights instant gratification. So people with a South Node 5th house Virgo tend to look to serve and attain in instantly gratifying ways. And instead, with a North Node in Pisces 11th house, you're here to focus on helping a community more, making an impact in the world more, by embracing your Piscean energy of unconditional love, of artistry, of creativity, and nonlinear means. Pisces archetype in general sees that the best way to help the world is to inspire them. And so you are here with a North Node in 11th house in Pisces to not help people through the tasks you do, but by inspiring them with your creativity and through your frequency. And finally, if you have a North Node in 12th house in Pisces, Pisces North Node is in its home house. And so these Pisces themes are even more accentuated for you. You are someone with a 6th house South Node Virgo who generally focuses on their tasks a lot. You want to do everything with perfection, serve people with perfection, give the absolute most, and do your day-to-day routine. You are fulfilled by your self-care routine and just having your planner and living on your schedule. But your path to growth in this lifetime is to focus more on energy, focus more on your mind, step into the unknown, notice your unconscious fears and desires, and notice how those are affecting your life now. You're someone who is very superficial, and now you are called in this lifetime to dive deeper. Overall, everyone with a North Node in Pisces has a lot to do with learning about their minds and stepping into energy and unconditional love, but it changes so much based on the house it's in and if you have any other planets or placements in your North or South Node. So if you want to learn more and dive deeper into exactly what it means to have your North Node placement in your chart, in your South Node placement in a specific way in your chart, hit the link in the description below to book a reading with me now for 30 minutes, and we'll dive into everything you need to know about your North Node and get you some action steps on what you can do to live in alignment with that. That's the link in the description below. Book a 30-minute reading with me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and it helps you get an overview of what it means to have each of your North Node in Pisces in each house. And let me know in those comments below if you want me to do this for the rest of the North and South Nodes. I'm going to need a lot of yeses in order to film these videos. So if you want to see the rest of the North Nodes through the houses, let me know in those comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out the rest of our channel for more on astrology. Check out the links in the description below to get the free birth chart workbook and the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle, where you can access all 30 of our workbooks and courses on astrology and self-development for only $30. That's $1 per course per workbook, and you get lifetime access to the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle when you get it. And you also get exclusive access to any new workbooks I drop, which they're coming soon, and you'll be the only one to access them. So hit the link in the description below. Get the bundle now. Once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, I bow to you. Namaste.